The word affordability is a Democrat scam.
This is what it's all about, baby. Google searches for affordability up 110% versus a year ago. More folks search for affordability in the last month than at any point since the Great Recession, all the way back in 2009. This is no con job. This is the American people going online, searching for affordability. It's the American people going to the ballot box, voting on affordability. They think it is an important issue to touch on. Donald Trump might want to make the argument it's a con job, but the American people don't think so.
Yeah, they think it's an important issue because it's an important issue. You know who else thought it was an important issue? Trump, like a year ago when he was doing rallies with affordability. We're gonna make affordability day one so good. He thought it was a good thing to campaign on, and then oopsie doopsie, it's hard to actually, do affordability when you're just handing trillions of dollars over to the 1%. And so now it's become a con job, which is just salt in the wound for his base, which is they're hurting. They're desperately trying to get him to hear that they're hurting. And he spits in their face and tells them, no, you're not actually hurting. It's kind of like the Epstein thing all over again. He saw that they were passionate about it. He played to them on that. They're still passionate and he's totally given up. And he tells them, no, like shut up about it. That was all just like a game. That was to get me in power. Why are you still talking about this thing? But it's not removed from their life. It's every day, it's everywhere they go, everything that they buy. And so I don't see him just messaging his way out of this. And we have more bad news. Let's jump into this right here. So what's like the most important issue to the American people? Number one is the cost of living. Number two is the economy, which is like a more abstract way of saying the cost of living, kind of. And number three is healthcare or Medicare and Social Security, which is like three of the things that really affect your cost of living. It's how the economy sort of affects you in a personal way, in a very systemic way. And so that's 1 through 3. So notably, it's not transgender for everyone. And then, I don't know, Trump not getting a Nobel Peace Prize and we ain't got ballroom. That's not the top 3, actually. It's actually really just about the economy. And even Trump voters are starting to be very clear about that. So if we bring up this right here, you'll see that when asked people about the cost of living, 37%, the plurality of Trump voters say the cost of living here is the worst I can ever remember it being. And presumably some of them can remember 2024. And so they think that it's worse than it was under Biden. Now, 24% say the cost of living isn't that bad. Okay, that's fine. And they are less likely than Harris voters to say, that things are really bad. That's that sort of partisan thing where when your party's out of power, you're more willing to be honest about it. But even though their guy is in power, they are being at least this honest about it. And all of this on top of the now weeks of bad economic news. And we focus on this because it's the biggest thing. It's what people rate as the top 3 issues. But he's underwater on literally every single issue. His marquee issues. If he could choose the slate, he'd still be underwater. So this is just really bad, Brett. And he hasn't really developed any new messaging around it. He's been saying the affordability con job thing since the Mamdani race, basically, and he's still sticking with that. What do you think?
Like I love stories like this. This is like sky appears blue, but they come up with a different word for it. They call it like cerulean. Sky now, the cerulean seems to be a big word. Bluish seems to be a big word when describing the sky. Like, here's another way to look at the ridiculousness of all of this. Can you believe that one of the main factors in the election and in politics is whether people can afford to live a happy life? Can you believe the economy? Economic factors might factor in to people's decisions. This is exactly the kind of repackaging of the same old crap that Harry Enton's entire job is to make seem interesting and new. Like, I used to host a show, or I used to work on a show called Google Current 1,000 years ago. There was, what search terms are trending? Nobody watched it. It was very boring because it was a dumb hook. And Harry Enton's like, can you believe that 110% of people, a 10% uptick in affordability? Yeah, that's just a new word. That's not about whether affordability itself is more or less popular in people's decision over who they're going to vote. That just means that
when
Mamdani
when
is
they're
an
ranking
expert
the most important
messenger.
issues, that is.
I didn't hear you because I was so forcefully going through with my point. That just means that Mamdani is such an expert messenger and now the only talented Democrat in politics because he got a word on a map when only people like Donald Trump have previously gotten words on the map. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, sure, just the affordability thing that's the thing that people are searching for. You could go broader and search for 10 different things that try to track if people are looking up the cost of living or whatever. So I get your point there. But when they are ranking it as the most important issue to them personally and affecting their, like that's them saying it at least. You could say that maybe they're wrong in that, but they are saying that is now at the top of the list for them.
Right, but my argument is usually affordability or the economy or employment or some other word in the first chapter of your economics 1 textbook is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what I'm just, and we're kind of saying the same thing, but I just want to shine a very specific light for people that like this is how politics is finding a way to have your brand be the driving brand in people's decision and believe that you're good at it. And and for Trump to say like affordability is a Democratic hoax, well then why is your freaking what the next moves, if I want to pull out my crystal ball, is the Republicans are going to say affordability is our issue. It's our thing. We're the only ones who can help you. And we've already gotten a taste of it from JD Vance, who says affordability is a problem and the reason is immigrants.
Sure.
Whereas Mamdani's like affordability is a problem and the reason is people with all the money already.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was Trump has already dabbled in we're the ones who are good on affordability. I mean, but it doesn't really work well when you've been telling people for months lies about the cost of things. But you pointed out that like that maybe that word individually, Mamdani, made that the song of the summer or whatever. But like it was during last year, it was Trump that was telling everyone to interpret the economy based almost exclusively around the price of individual consumer goods, particularly food. He was the one constantly talking about the price of eggs, the price of gas, all of that stuff. And so that's what makes it delicious to me. It's not just that Mamdani is landing on something I think that makes a lot of sense. It's that Trump primed his base to be sensitive to this appeal that now is a far better weapon for the Democrats to use than for him. And so it's sort of the combination of those two things.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It really is. And this is what Trump does, by the way. Fake news doesn't mean what Trump says it like implies it means. Fake news means like fake news articles created to spread misinformation. Trump thinks fake news is anyone on the right, on the left, any news outlet that isn't up his ass. And he's going to try to do the same thing with affordability, and we're not going to let him.
You know what TYT has always been about? Taking on the corrupt, greedy establishment. For us, it's the corporate media. We've been fighting that fight for over 20 years. For the cell phone industry, it's the same story. A handful of massive corporations ripping you off. That's why we're partnering with Noble Mobile. They're the only wireless company with the same mission as ours, to fight back. Their Noble plan offers unlimited data for just $50 a month. But here's the best part. For any data that you don't use, you get cash back. Real money you can spend however you want. Stop letting your unused data pad the pockets of billionaires. With Noble, you take control over your data. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.